It's 8:23, 44 degrees outside the Apple Tree Automotive Superstore studios. What do you know about brokered conventions? Is that where we are headed? My next guest and First News on 570 regular, Dr. Nathaniel Cogley from Tarleton State University. He's the head of the Department of Government and Legal Studies, is with us this morning, as he is each and every week. And, Doc, I got to ask you, this whole brokered convention thing, I don't think most people really realize what this means and what this would do for kind of the landscape of 2020.
Yeah, good morning, Mark. It's been a long time since we had a brokered convention in the U.S. The last one was 1952 for the Democrats. They had 3 rounds to settle on Adlai Stevenson. And just what that means is that the convention goes beyond the first ballot. In order for someone to be nominated to be the party's nominee for president, they need a majority of delegates on the first ballot. And if they don't secure that, it goes to multiple ballots. And what's interesting about that is on the first round, most of the delegates are bound to vote for who won their state. Mm-hmm. But if it goes to a second or third round, the delegates are free to vote for whoever they want. So the convention becomes very unpredictable. And in the last 68 years, most of these convention cycles, we've kind of known who the nominee is going to be long before the convention takes place.
Right.
And so basically the convention becomes an infomercial for the nominee. But really a convention is where the actual decision is made. And if the decision is not secure, the convention actually becomes a negotiated solution to who the party's nominee is going to be.
So do you think this could happen for both sides, or is this just something that could happen for Democrats or just Republicans? I mean, I know we've got people that are thinking that Trump is not going to be on the ballot. I saw that headline yesterday, and I'm thinking, I don't know, that's a bit of a stretch.
Well, I think Trump's got this Republican nomination locked down. I don't think there's any question on that. But the Democratic side is where we have a lot of indications towards a brokered convention. And I think there's 3 real reasons for that. So one is the field. The field is very fractionalized. Right. And what's interesting is both the left is fractionalized and the center is fractionalized. So on the left, you have Bernie Sanders. He's been preparing this socialist run for president for a long time, and he's not going to give it up easily. Right. But Elizabeth Warren has shown up and really tapped into that base on the left. So you have 2 people on the left. The left is fractionalized. And then over in the center, you have a front runner, Joe Biden, who's weak and not inspiring confidence. And therefore, that inspires other centrists to stay around. The key here in the field is Bernie going to be able to yield to Elizabeth? Because if the left consolidates, the center might consolidate. I'm just not so sure Bernie can do that. Mm-hmm. The second reason is the Democrats use proportional rules out of each state. So these aren't winner take all, where the person with the most votes gets all the delegates. And sometimes you'll see the field is divided early, but then someone gets that momentum and then can sweep all the delegates in the second half of the calendar because they're winner take all states. But here on the Democratic side, it's proportional. So if anyone gets 15% of the vote, they'll get delegates. Therefore, first place can get delegates, second place, third place. And the Democrats do that in every single state. And then finally, the Democrats have something called superdelegates. So they have about 764 party insiders. They're not coming out of any state primary or caucus, and they still get to vote at the convention. The Bernie campaign complained about that last time, right, and it was decided that superdelegates now can only vote on a second ballot, thus creating maybe an unintended incentive for superdelegates, i.e. party insiders, to want a second ballot.
Huh. That's kind of interesting that, because there was talk that they were going to do away with the superdelegate system altogether, but I guess that obviously didn't happen.
No, they just pushed it to the second round. They said superdelegates can't vote in the first round, only in the second round. Right. And here, where you have a situation where maybe Elizabeth Warren is number 1 in delegates, and the party's looking at her going, she's a horrible matchup against President Trump. You have an incentive for the party insiders, who are also superdelegates, to say, well, let's just deny her majority delegates at the convention, put it to a second round. We can be much more strategic with our matchup.
Wow. That's this 2020 has the potential to be kind of explosive in this manner. It's already a wild landscape, and we still got a long way to go before votes even get cast. So going to be interesting to watch it all unfold. Doc, we certainly appreciate the time. We'll look forward to catching up with you next week. Same time, same channel.
Thanks a lot, Mark. See you next week.
You got to take care.